Hello there! Episode 66 of the Ewan McGregor-a-thon, and today I'll be watching Obi Wan Kenobi. This series has been a long time coming, and I was very excited for it once upon a time, then not so very excited for it after Book of Boba Fett came out, and now I'm excited once again. So, what am I expecting of this series? Well, to be honest, not very much. I know it is set between episode 3 and 4, and I think it's about Obi-Wan, defending Luke from all kinds of bad stuff. Luke is played by a child, so yeah, I guess it'll be interesting, but I don't know how I feel about this phase of Obi-Wan's life on Tatooine being interesting. I thought the point of it was just that he spent 20 years on Tatooine doing nothing. And to be honest, I think I like that a bit better. But I'm always happy to see Ewan McGregor pop back up again, especially doing Obi Wan Kenobi. I really like Obi-Wan. I really like Ewan McGregor doing Obi-Wan. Apart from that, I don't really have much expectations. I avoided all of the promotional material as best as I could. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and see and enjoy it, I guess. So I will let you know what I thought of the first episode after I've seen it. Right, I'm back, episode 1, done and dusted. And yeah, I think it was a pretty solid first episode. Nothing really important happened. It started off with a really cool scene. And if you've seen the episode, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna try to not spoil too much, by the way. Or at least not until I say that I'm going to spoil it. Yeah, it was very fun to see Ewan McGregor back on the screen as Obi-Wan Kenobi, although he did feel a bit like a different version of the character, not quite what he was in the prequels, but not quite the Alec Guinness version of the character yet. I liked that he kind of felt defeated and not really up to go on this adventure that he is suggested to him. I like that it was a very big decision that he had to make, one that he wasn't very keen on, even though it was a bit predictable what he was going to do, right? Like he's not going to go on the big adventure. I like the Inquisitors. I don't know much about them. I guess they showed up in episode 3, but I didn't really notice them there. I don't mind the redesign. I think they look cool. I like what they're all about, like hunting Jedi. I think that's a really cool idea. My interpretation was that just every single Jedi was killed during Order 66, at once. It didn't even occur to me that 10 years later there would still be a Jedi on the loose, but I guess that makes sense. And the role of the Inquisitors fits neatly there, I thought. I am a bit curious why that one Inquisitor was so obsessed with Obi-Wan. I wonder if they have a background. I hope that gets answered soon. Apart from that, I liked seeing Obi-Wan's day-to-day activities while he's stranded on Tatooine, and I think that's all I have to say before going into spoilers. I thought most of this series was going to take place on Tatooine, but I'm kind of up for the idea that Obi-Wan that the other 5 episodes are just going to be Obi-Wan rescuing Leia from the Inquisitors. I think that would be pretty cool. Also, I think the marketing was a bit clever in that regard, because for one, I heard a lot about the casting of young Luke But I didn't really hear anything about the casting of a young Leia, and she was way more important in this episode than young Luke was. So that's exciting. I didn't expect to see Leia appear at all. It was also very nice to see Alderaan. I guess that's Alderaan. I've never seen Alderaan because I haven't been like into the extended universe at all. So and I don't think Alderaan was ever shown in any of the movies. Maybe in the Clone Wars. I haven't finished that quite yet. But so I thought that was cool. Also, I know from the marketing that Darth Vader is going to appear in this series, and I pictured like this fight between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan on Tatooine, and I thought like I wasn't keen on the idea of Darth Vader returning because I didn't like them fighting on Tatooine, but like it makes way more sense that Obi-Wan would leave Tatooine and then come across Darth Vader. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they will do next. Final prediction, and this one is obvious, but I guess Qui-Gon is going to make an appearance at some point as a Force ghost. It'll be really cool if they get Liam Neeson back. I'm not really sure about that, to be honest. Would he come back for that? I don't know. The reason why I think that is, well, because that line from Yoda, like, that Qui-Gon has found a way to communicate with Obi-Wan in the afterlife, is put in the recap, and also Obi-Wan clearly tries to communicate with Qui-Gon when he's alone sometimes. So, yeah. All in all, I think the first episode was pretty solid. My one complaint was the scene where the bad guys, the Inquisitors, I guess, were chasing young Leia, and she's like running really slowly, and they can't keep up with her. And then she crawls underneath a branch, and then the bad guy is just like, oh, a branch. Well, I guess I'll turn around now. Instead of like, it didn't look like a very sturdy branch. I think he could have just ran through it or ducked under it or whatever. That scene was just a bit silly, I think. It reminded me of that scene where the Wookiee tries to kill Boba Fett in his sleep in the Book of Boba Fett, where this Wookiee is supposed to be a really good mercenary and he can't even kill Boba Fett in his sleep. So it's a bit of that badly proportioned power levels, I thought. Anyway, all in all, I think it was a very promising first episode. I am looking forward to watching the second episode. I will see you then. Watched episode 2 and I still really like the series. I really liked the setting for this episode. It was kind of like a more dark version of the underground of Coruscant. There were lots of weird alien things, which is always a big plus in my book. Also that like veteran clone trooper, and I'm not sure, but was that the guy who plays the clone troopers? Tamuara Morrison, is that his name? Who also plays Boba Fett. His voice sounded really like it, but it could have also been the voice from the Clone Wars animated series. I'm not sure. He didn't really look like Morrison, I think, but he had a big bushy beard. So anyway, it was a very nice addition. I really liked seeing him. And I also liked all the other weird aliens. Probably a lot of Easter eggs that I missed, but that's okay. Did I see an ET alien, or was that just my imagination? I don't know. I'd have to rewatch the episode. Anyway, I also liked the reveal that our mysterious Jedi friend was actually Kingo from Eternals. That's the only movie I've seen that actor in before, but I think he's a fairly big actor in India, in Bollywood. And I quite like him. I like that he has like a lisp. I don't know why. I think that's just endearing. And I liked his kind of con artist vibe, but he still was eventually like one of the good guys. Wasn't very convinced by the action once again. Like I said last episode, that part with the chase in episode 1 with Leia in the woods was just a bit, just weird. And again, the chase on the roof and the shootout, it all felt kind of slow. Well, it should have been really pumped up high speed action. The hand-on-hand fight scenes, I quite like. I don't have really that much of an opinion on, except for the fact that I like that Obi-Wan wasn't extremely good at it. I liked him getting beaten up because that's logical if you spend 10 years not fighting. I think it's good that we didn't really see his or Anakin's lightsaber in action yet. I think that could be a bigger reveal later on. Although, I don't know. It's not that big of a reveal because we know that they are present. We saw some more of Leia in this episode, and I really like just her, to be honest. I think the kid does a great job. Her personality fits really well with the adult Leia we know. The final reveal of Darth Vader in his BAFTA tank, I wasn't such a huge fan of, because it almost seemed like Obi-Wan didn't know that Anakin was still alive. Also, I'm just not really a big fan of everyone calling him Anakin, because, I don't know, I guess I assume not many people knew that, but if this one Inquisitor person knows it, I guess, like, basically everyone knows, right? But I am very looking forward to seeing Darth Vader in action again. I guess in the next episode. Expectations for next episode? I don't know. Very hard to predict, I think. I guess Obi-Wan and little Leia are going, like, maybe someone's going to board their ship. Does Obi-Wan have a ship? No, he took, like, the bus, right? I don't know then. Yeah, and I'm thinking, like, is the Obi-Wan Leia team up going to be a thing throughout the rest of the series, or will he deliver her at her home and then go on another adventure or something? I don't know. Could be like that, because The Mandalorian was also kind of paced like that, like a couple episodes per adventure, and then he goes off to do something else. Yeah, like I said, I don't know. But I am looking forward to it. Apparently, the next episode is out already. I thought it would come out on Friday. It did not. It came out on Wednesday. So my entire schedule was just thrown in the air and all over the place right now. So I'm going to do my very best to put these episodes out as fast as I can. And then I will see you back when I've watched episode number 3. Episode 3 of Kenobi watched, and honestly, this episode had some good things and some less good things. Just the basic idea of the episode I thought was quite weird. Like, why is Obi-Wan on this planet? Couldn't he just have gone straight to Alderaan? Also, as far as Star Wars planets go, this one is the worst, right? It's just like... it's just a desert. Like, it looked like something you'd find in Spain or something, like the least interesting part of a Spanish desert. There's really not much going on. The story in this episode was quite uninteresting, I thought. And it just felt like that standard middle part of any Disney Plus series, really. That just feels like it's dragging on way too long. Also, Obi-Wan suddenly got really good at shooting, while only in the last episode he missed completely every single shot. And I get that, yeah, this was in the day and the last thing was in the dark and whatever. It just feels like an inconsistency. And those are my complaints about the episode, but there was also some good things. The alien guy that picks up Obi-Wan and Leia in his truck, I loved him. He's so good. I hope we get to see him, more of him soon. And during the fight scene that, as I said, I didn't really like, with the shooting, that one stormtrooper falling on the lasers and getting cut in half, I really liked that. Took me way off guard, and that was good. That was really good. And of course, the fight scene between Obi-Wan and Vader, I adored. I really liked that they were seemingly only lit by their lightsabers. I don't know how much light they emit because everything was quite visible, but I would have expected lightsabers to be less light emittent, but yeah. It was lit in a really cool way. Is it the gigantic fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader that I wanted? No, I expect we're going to get that fight later on, possibly as a season finale. But so far, it kind of makes sense that Obi-Wan isn't, it's been a while since he's been in a lightsaber fight, and while Vader only kept training, Obi-Wan didn't train at all, so I think it's a logical conclusion to the fight. I didn't really like how Darth Vader is just killing all these random innocent people. That just doesn't really seem like something Vader would do, I think. But then it was pointed out to me that this is like very young, angry Anakin Skywalker, so I guess it makes sense in that regard. And I guess that's it. That's everything I wanted to say about this episode. I really don't know where the next episode will be headed. Like, there's 3 more episodes in this series. Young Leia is kidnapped by Third Inquisitor lady. So I guess she's going to use her as like bait for Obi-Wan, but that's kind of already what happened in the last few episodes, so I don't know if they're just going to repeat the last few episodes. I hope not. But apart from that, yeah, I'm not as excited about the rest of the series anymore, but I'll still watch it, sure. And I just hope that we get a nice and satisfying season finale. And honestly, in my honest opinion, after we get that nice and satisfying season finale, Obi-Wan's character should die and just not get brought back. That's, I think, the best conclusion for all of this. So yeah, those were my thoughts on episode 3. I will see you after I've watched episode 4. Episode 4 of Obi Wan Kenobi watched, and yeah, I'm afraid I'm kind of continuing this trend of not really being interested in the series. I'll watch it till the end, but it's really uninteresting to me, to be honest. But the main reason I find it not very interesting to watch is just that you've got this great streaming content at the moment. You've got Stranger Things Season 4, you've got Miss Marvel, and then Obi-Wan's just like the black sheep. Like, I feel like nothing really happens in it. There's enough people making fun of it. I really like the Wade meme. We'll talk about it. I'll just go through the episode chronologically. So Obi-Wan decides to, well, first of all, he's in a Bacta tank. It is, in fact, Bacta, not BAFTA. That is the award. So Obi-Wan is in a Bacta tank, getting his burnt arm healed. and it doesn't really do that much because he climbs out of it, so you think, oh, this episode is going to like show his weakness because of his injury and because he went out of the Bacta tank prematurely. So we're getting an even weaker version of Obi Wan Kenobi than we have been in the rest of the series. This might make some interesting scenarios, but that's not the case. He just acts like he's not hurt at all. And then Obi-Wan decides to break into this Inquisitor fort or whatever it is. It's just like, I like a good heist story. It's kind of like a heist story, right? I like a good breaking in and out of a place. But this just, it wasn't it. There's not really any sort of plan going in. Obi-Wan doesn't even disguise himself. He's just like walking through the hallways, hoping that nobody sees him. Like, come on, you could have thought this out better, right? He does some things with the Force, and then the action scenes, once again, were very poorly done in my opinion. I've been having issues with them all series, and I think in this episode they kind of stood out as being especially bad. I've never had an issue with Third Sister Inquisitor Lady, but in this episode I thought she kind of walked the line between intimidating villain and just pure parody of herself. And it kind of went a bit too much to the parody side. She had some awful dialogue. I think she didn't really make logical decisions. Like, you could have just killed the spy. That would have been a much more logical decision. When the spy says like, I've always been this way, and then Third Inquisitor Lady says, then you die. Like, just kill her already, alright? Don't let her get away. And then of course at the end, Obi-Wan and the spy and Leia get saved by some random people that we've never met before, and one of them dies, and the other characters are like, oh no, not Wade! And everyone's making fun of that scene, rightfully so, because that's just... Don't make a character die that we've just met and expect us to feel bad. I don't even know if that was what was meant to happen. Were we meant to feel sad? I don't know. I don't know, Wade. It just kind of felt funny to me. One thing I did like about this episode is I wasn't entirely convinced by Darth Vader in the last episode, but in this episode I was. I thought he was very intimidating, very scary villain, and honestly, I want more of this version of Darth Vader. My predictions for the next episodes... Honestly, I'm having a hard time because I can't even remember where the previous episode left off. Were they able to escape? Yeah, they were, right? Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen. Is Obi-Wan just going to bring Leia back to Alderaan? But that's what I thought would happen 2 episodes ago, so probably not. I also wonder, why did social media make such a big deal out of young Luke casting? He's not in this series. So maybe they're going to Tatooine? But that wouldn't make any sense. Leia can't go to Tatooine, right? Leia can't meet Luke. Yeah, I don't know. And honestly, I don't really care. I just hope that we get some resolution to the Master Help Me storyline. I hope he sees Force Ghost Qui-Gon or something, or he realizes why he can't do it, and that's like the conclusion to that arc, just that he can't do it or something. Also, I want just a big action scene between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, where Obi-Wan is back at full strength, where the playing field is leveled a bit more than the previous one. Obi-Wan doesn't have to win. That would kind of defeat the purpose, I think. But I'd just like to see a more fair fight. And that's it really. As I said, not really a fan of this show, but I'll watch it to the end. I will see you in episode 5. Episode 5 of Obi Wan Kenobi watched. I'm gonna say, probably my favorite one. At least that's the feeling I got after just having watched it. But then I kind of put off making this video for a couple of days, and honestly, I couldn't remember much from this episode right before filming this, so I had to look up a little summary before making this video. Oops. Anyway, a lot happened in this episode. It was a typical defending the base episode, which I typically really like, but the base just wasn't that interesting and the attackers weren't as interesting to me. I think Doctor Who does a great job at defending the base episodes, but this one just... I don't know, I think what makes them interesting is that it's a set crew of few people who all have their own personality. I think the most important thing about this episode was the end, and I think the rest of the episode was kind of inconsequential and not really that interesting. But then, at the end, we find out, spoilers, that Reva, I finally learned her name, good on me. I deserve a pat on the shoulder. Anyway, Reva was actually an Inquisitor because she wanted to kill Vader? That doesn't really make any sense, right? Because, I mean, so her thing is that she hates Vader because he killed all of her Jedi friends from back when she was a youngling. Why on earth would she think that becoming an Inquisitor is the best way to take revenge on him? Because surely you have to kill a lot of people to do that, right? Isn't that a bit hypocritical? It was a cool reveal, but it didn't really make sense to me. Anyway, Obi-Wan learns this, and they kind of agree that best result would be them teaming up. But eventually Obi-Wan manages to flee, and Reva has to face Vader alone, and she thinks that Vader isn't onto her, but of course he is, because he's Vader and he's supposed to be alive for the original trilogy. So he defeats Reva in a duel. I'm not a fan of the action in this series, but that duel, kinda cool, must say. I really liked how much Vader relied on his Force ability rather than his lightsaber ability, but then when he does get a lightsaber in his hands, he's very good with that as well. I like the flashbacks to Anakin and Obi-Wan training together. Really liked seeing Hayden Christensen return. Apparently he's been in this series a bunch, like in the Vader suit, but you're not really aware that it's Christensen until you see him in the flashback, right? So that was nice. There was this bit during the duel with Reva when they were, I think, deliberately mimicking episode 3, where she kneels before Anakin and he has 2 sabers in his hands, and I thought for sure he was gonna like slice her head off, and he didn't, which was disappointing to me. And maybe it was like a fake out, like, you're sure what he's gonna do here, right? Nope. But then the way he did defeat her was just a bit lackluster, I think. Just stab her through the stomach. I mean, we've seen someone die that way in this series already. He didn't die, he came back in this episode. So, yeah. I don't think this is gonna be the end of Reva, which just... Stop fake killing characters, please. I don't really like that. What can I say? Just don't pretend like characters are dead. Nobody's fooled by that. One last important thing about this episode, I think, is the return of Kingo. What was his name? Jaffa or something? I don't know. But I call it that he would be back. Once again, Well, not once again. He did in the last episode, but in this episode it wasn't really that important. But it was fun. I like that guy. And then the cliffhanger of last episode was that Reva discovers that Obi-Wan has to protect Luke on Tatooine. So it's possible that she'll follow him to Tatooine. At least I think that's where they're headed. And just listen, alright? Leia can't go to Tatooine and meet Luke. It's just, I'm prepared to take some liberties. I wasn't a fan of Obi-Wan leaving Tatooine. Obviously he's done that. I'm fine with that. I wasn't a fan of Obi-Wan meeting Vader between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. But that's happened. I'm fine with that. In fact, I won a big duel in the last episode between them. But there's some things you just can't do. Like having Vader on Tatooine, having Leia on Tatooine, having Luke experience anything exciting. Those things just can't happen, okay? That just wouldn't make any sense. But for some reason, I think that's the way this is going to head. And I'm not a fan of it. But we'll see, I guess. We'll see in episode 6. So I will talk to you when I've seen that. Sorry if you can hear the roadworks outside. I just watched episode 6 of Obi Wan Kenobi. And I must say, for a series that hasn't really been kind of getting my attention throughout, I thought the finale was quite good. I can remember in the last part of this video series that I said that I didn't want Darth Vader to get on Tatooine. He didn't. I didn't want Luke and Leia to meet. They didn't. And just this finale was as good as it could have been, I think. We had that huge battle between Obi-Wan and Vader, where Obi-Wan is back at full strength. I think the battle was quite cool. I liked once again how they were almost only illuminated by their lightsabers. The choreography, once again, wasn't really my thing, but I think the battle in general was quite okay. I liked the setting. I liked that they used their environment. It kind of reminded me of the battle between Avatar Aang and Fire Lord Ozai in Avatar The Last Airbender. The only thing that I didn't really like is how much Obi-Wan won and then just walked away, just like last time. He didn't learn anything. I assume Darth Vader is already a dictator and a mass murderer, right? Why didn't Obi-Wan just kill him then? That just seems a bit selfish. And I guess his reasoning is, this isn't Anakin, so I don't have anything against this guy, so I won't kill him. But that doesn't really make sense, I think. And the other part of this episode was Reva on Tatooine, and I said in the last part that I didn't want Luke to experience anything exciting, and I think they did their absolute best to make sure that Luke didn't see anything like lightsaber or fighting or that his aunt and uncle shooting things. But I still think this was a bit too much. I'm sure Luke would have asked questions the next day that his aunt and uncle couldn't really answer. Yeah, it is what it is. I did wonder, why did Reva want to kill Luke? At one point I thought, okay, she knows Luke is Vader's son, so she wants to kill Luke to spite Vader, because Vader killed a lot of children that she was fond of, and now she can kill a child that Vader was fond of. But Vader doesn't know that Luke is his son, so that doesn't really make sense. And I think to me, it kind of felt like a forced way to have a finale with young Luke, where he's involved in that, and kind of a quick and easy way to get Obi-Wan back on Tatooine. So yeah, and then the actual end, there were a bunch, but I didn't mind that actually. So you've got Obi-Wan saying goodbye to Leia, that was fine, whatever. I didn't really like the thing with the blaster holder. Is that a thing from the original trilogy? That blaster holder? Because if it is, it's stupid. Such tiny things don't need a backstory, and if it's not, then it just doesn't really make sense at all. But it was a nice moment between Obi-Wan and Leia. I definitely get why Leia would ask him for help when she's kidnapped by Vader or whatever. Then you've got the ending between Obi-Wan and Luke, and I like that quite a bit. That's like everything it needed to be. I also really liked Obi-Wan's outfit in that scene, like all the white thing with the almost black, dark brown sleeveless thing over it. Really cool. And then you've also got the ending with Qui-Gon, which is something I've been, wanting the entire series, and it was fine. I didn't see Liam Neeson in the credits, so I wonder if he actually did that, or if it's like reused material. I'm not sure. Yeah, I liked seeing Qui-Gon again. It was nice to see this interaction between an older Obi Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon. So my overall thoughts on this series then. I think it was clear throughout my videos, but kind of lukewarm on this. I didn't really like it, and to be honest, if it wasn't for Ewan McGregor, I don't think I would have finished it. I don't think it has anything to do with the quality of the series. I just thought most episodes dragged a bit. The story wasn't fast enough for me. There were only cool scenes. The action scenes could have been a lot better, and honestly, I'm just really burnt out on Star Wars at this point. I'm fairly sure that the next Star Wars thing on Disney Plus I'm not going to watch. The only Star Wars thing that I might watch is maybe Mandalorian Season 3, and probably something that stars Ewan McGregor. So yeah, this series, not my favorite thing in the world. I think I would give it a 6 out of 10? Yeah, 6 out of 10. But that's it. That is the Obi Wan Kenobi series all finished. Thank you very much for watching. Next time, the next episode in the Ewan McGregor-a-thon will be about, I'm going to say it once again, I've been wrong a couple of times, but I'm fairly sure that right now the next thing is Pinocchio. So do join me for that, and I will see you then. Goodbye.